Hi dear friends, my name is Dara and this is Dear Hallmark, and we are going to be talking about some Hallmark Channel fall into love stuff. And the movie we are talking about today is Dating the Delaney's, starring Rachel Boston, Paul Campbell, and Karen Kruger. So the premise is that we're following three generations of women as they're navigating dating in the modern world. So we have grandmom, who's in a relationship with a guy named Rick. We have the mom, played by Rachel Boston, who is finally deciding to get out there after being divorced for a little bit. And so now she's like, let me, try my hand and see what's what. And then we have the daughter, who is coming into dating as she's exploring a crush that she has at school. So, you guys, Offset, I would give this movie 3.5 crowns. So, I was really excited for this movie. I don't know if you guys caught the preview special with Chad Maurice, but I was really excited I was excited about this plot line. I was excited that we were seeing three generations of women and kind of getting perspective from different age ranges. I loved it. The only thing is that I wish we didn't see much of the grandmother. We saw her in the beginning, probably like the first 20 minutes, and then we saw her the last 5 minutes of the movie. But for the duration, like the meat and potatoes of the movie, it was mainly mom and daughter. And so that was something that was a little disappointing to me. However, I love Rachel and Paul together. So last weekend, I watched Last Bridesmaid for the first time, and I was blown away. Rachel and Paul have this thing where they are so natural with one another. They bring this kind of effortlessness to each character. Like it's just like so organic between the two of them, the conversations that their characters have with each other, and so on and so forth. So I was really looking forward to this movie from that aspect as well. And to me, I don't think they disappointed at all in terms of creating moments of organic, natural conversation. And Paul, more so, was a little bit more awkward because you can tell he was tripping a little bit over his feelings that he has for Maggie, who is Rachel's character. And there were some really charming moments. I do think this was a charming movie. A couple of scenes that I wanted to point out. One of my favorite scenes was the first blind date that grandmom set up Maggie on. It was grandmom's friend's nephew. And so they met at an Italian restaurant, and he is just the pits. He is the worst. He's on his phone, stuffing his mouth with breadsticks, couldn't give 2 cents of beans worth of who's in front of him. And so the waiter catches wind of this, and he's like, yo, everybody in this restaurant can see that this date is going bad. Because I think he had to go to the restroom or something, but her date had to leave. And so the waiter was just like, leave now while you have the chance. And she's like, what? He said, yes, leave now. Like, everyone in this restaurant can see that this date is going bad. And so I thought that scene was super, super cute. And I love the friend who was helping her in her bakery, and how Maggie was put on, like, she said this extremely corny joke, and the friend just hung up on her. I thought that was cute. They were pouring the jokes on a little bit too thick for me personally, but again, I thought it added to the movie's charm. I'm trying to think. So when Rachel came back from a double date with her friends, or it wasn't a double date, but they just randomly met some guys at a bar or something like that. And so he calls, Michael, Paul's character, he calls, and then she says she's hungry, and so he wants to distract her, and they play this game about finding pictures on their phone. And before they start playing that game, she mentioned specifically how she loves egg rolls and wontons from China Dragon, which is, I believe, like a specific Chinese restaurant in their town. And so they're playing this game, and then the doorbell rings, and he's like, you know what, I'm gonna let you go. And then he said, Maggie, bon appetit. And when he said that, I said, oh my gosh, he ordered the food for her. I thought that was so sweet. But it was so sweet. I loved it. It was interesting though that they let the, what's the word I want to use? They let Maggie's feelings for him get, like, she didn't realize it for the last 5 minutes of the movie. I thought that was incredibly interesting. I thought for sure, because of the maturity, for lack of a better word, that I felt like this movie was giving, we would get to see at least 20 or 40 minutes of them exploring dating with each other. It was just interesting. It was really interesting that they waited until the last 5 minutes, and then that's when Michael said, he used a line that she used on him earlier where he said, I don't want to be your barometer. I want to be that guy. I want to be the guy that you know, whatever with. And so she says nothing. She's kind of shocked. And he's like, I need you to say something. Like, can you just say something so I'm not completely humiliated? And so that's when they kiss. But, and then we see them at her ex-husband's wedding, dancing or whatever. But all in all, I mean, again, I think this was 3.5 crowns. I don't know if this has rewatchability for me personally, but I did find myself smiling, just kind of like, oh, they're so adorable. And the whole even mood going into the movie, like, I had taken a shower, I popped some popcorn, like, I made it a moment to kind of watch this movie, you know? And so I was already going in with really good and high expectations. So I'm not so much disappointed because the movie wasn't, you know, I'm just like, oh, I just feel like there were some missed opportunities there. Again, I wanted to see more from the grandmom and the daughter. I thought seeing the daughter navigate was cool, but I think we had her, I felt like we had her with Zach way too long. I wish we would have had some more moments with her chemistry partner, who she ends up going with. He ends up taking her to homecoming. And I actually would have liked to see her at homecoming. That could have been another thing too. But yeah, let me know, what did you think of Dating the Delaneys? Where is Fall Into... Oh, speaking of Fall Into Love. Okay, so, y'all, they really tried to inject some fall into a non-fall movie. So, whilst Maggie was navigating this whole dating thing, and that being our A plot line, right? She also got accepted onto this cooking show called Make It, Bake It, Cake It. And they're doing a profile on her bakery called Sweet Sensations. That's her profession. And so she is deciding what type of treat, what type of cake to make. And so she's like, I feel like we should do something fall. And I'm like, That's because y'all ain't give us fall throughout all these movies. But you know what else is hilarious? I went back to when the article that was first released and first put out by Entertainment Tonight online. And it says flat out that the Fall Into Love lineup is a bunch of summer movies. And I was like, well, they were honest. At least they were honest, and they told us, y'all not getting fall. We're calling it Fall Into Love, but y'all not getting fall. It's just like, what are we doing here then? Like, why did you call me? I could have sent you the voicemail. Like, why are we doing this? But, so she makes this kind of, like, they have different fall desserts that, you know, pecan, pumpkin, maple, apple, whatever. And so she decides on like a pecan something cake, and that's the most fall we got in all three movies combined, was the cake that she made, because there were no autumn feels in terms of, we couldn't even tell that it was fall, the season, in the movie. So, but y'all, what did you think? What did you think of Paul and Rachel coming back together? This is their second movie with each other. There was a lot of dad jokes. What did you think of the three generation of women, that plot line? Which one did you like the most? What did you think about the daughter? Like, let's just talk about it all in the comments. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the Dear Hallmark YouTube channel. And be sure to subscribe to the Dear Hallmark podcast. The podcast is a space where I elaborate more on my thoughts. I go in depth in terms of different things that I wish I wanted and liked in the movies that we've seen so far. And also be sure to follow Dear Hallmark on Instagram and Facebook, because I put up some extra bit of content on there that you won't find on the YouTube channel or the podcast. For instance, I put up a video of me reacting to the last 5 to 7 minutes of Romance in Style from last week. That's on Instagram, so be sure to check that out. This week coming up, we have Game Set Love. That is the last movie for Hallmark Channel for August for our Fall into Love lineup, and then we're going to start moving into our September movies. So you guys talk to me in the comments, and I will talk to you guys in the next video. Ciao, my friends.